It's Labor Day weekend in September of 2016. My friends and I spent all day at the pool splashing and jumping into the water to escape from the heat. The next day, my parents and I went biking to our favorite spot and got ice cream along the way. In a matter of days, this exciting and fun-filled weekend took a sharp turn, and I became paralyzed. I went unresponsive and had a code called on me. Even now, I continue to be baffled by how an excited, intellectual, and active 8-year-old girl becomes the question of the PICU floor. After a lumbar puncture, which is a needle inserted into your spine, which drains fluid from the brain, and MRI scans, doctors concluded that I had viral meningoencephalitis. In basic terms, the membranes of my brain holding up the skull and structure became inflamed due to an infection. I still vividly remember certain parts of being sick. However, for a majority of my month-long stay in the hospital, I was either unconscious or had minimal brain activity. It was after I left the hospital that I began to understand what happened to me, as well as what could have happened to me. This illness took a toll on my physical health. The steroids, combined with other medications, caused symptoms impacting my daily routine. Things that I enjoyed doing, such as swimming, became extremely difficult, and I had to stop them. To convince me to walk a quarter of a mile, my mom hid trinkets under a bench in our neighborhood. I was constantly enduring pain, such as the excruciating headaches that took me back to the ER for nights at a time. In addition to the physical impact, this illness also took a toll on my mental health. I exited the hospital with a grin on my face, but from that point on, things started to decline. Questions constantly swirled in my mind, causing me to develop stress and anxiety. Would something bad happen? Would I return back to the hospital? Am I recovered yet? Well, after a week after I was initially discharged from the hospital, I was readmitted again with a blood clot. After this episode, another long road of recovery awaited ahead, consisting of blood draws, once 12 pricks, all to find a single vein, shots twice a day, morning and night, and medications to the point where an 8-year-old had to use a pill box. In my life thus far, this would have been my lowest point. I refer to the phrase mental health, but what is its significance? And what do mental health challenges and distress look like and feel like in today's world? The CDC states that mental health is our emotional, psychological, and social well-being. It affects how we feel, think, and act. Unfortunately, the mental health crisis has become a global pandemic. These challenges exist in those whom we think are completely fine, as well as in those who we don't. This increase in cases have caused an increase in ER visits, eating disorders, and other actions to be taken amongst our population. One of the principal reasons for this increase is COVID-19. From the fear of getting sick, isolation, to the effects of being infected, COVID-19 has cost many lives aside from the illness itself. This increase in cases have caused the American Academy of Pediatrics to issue a national emergency in mental health of youth and adolescents. Just 2 months later, Surgeon General Vivek Murthy issued an advisory for the youth mental health crises. It's only going to get worse from here on. The CDC states that approximately 1 in 3 students over the COVID-19 pandemic experienced poor mental health. Look to your left, look to your right. It's possible that you or somebody next to you experienced poor mental health in the past 2.5 years. You don't have to be diagnosed with or even have an illness at all to be struggling with mental health. These challenges exist in everyone, as indicated by these numbers and events around us today. But we have resources, right? Psychologists, psychiatrists, therapists, digital applications, medications, and more. Well, mental health is not one size fits all. Mental health is personal and individualized. The traditional approaches that we currently have may be working for some, but not all. We must complement traditional approaches with unorthodox strategies to temper the extent of this illness. After 2 years, I was initially discharged from the hospital. My mom suggested I joined the cross-country team. I did just that for the purpose of having a sport and something to do. Unintentionally, I was able to experience change from running. When we hear the words physical exercise and working out, we often depict getting in shape or staying fit. But there is so much more beyond the physical impact of exercise. There is a whole nother layer, and that is the mental aspect. Through research done by the CDC, it was found that one experiences an average of 3.4 poor mental health days per month. With a minimum of 45 minutes of physical activity 3 to 5 times per month, that number decreased by 40%. One of the main reasons we feel good when we work out is feedback loops. Let's say you have somebody who's not in the best mental health state. They start exercising and they start to see results. They see that they're accomplishing their goals, which causes them to keep exercising, whether that be running, biking, swimming, any activity. That sense of gratification and satisfaction is crucial in improving mental health. Studies shown at Harvard found that 15 minutes of high-intensity physical exercise decreases one's chance of a major depressive disorder by 26%. One of the main reasons for this decrease is the neurotransmitters GABA and glutamate, which are depressed in one with a depressive disorder. Researchers at UC Davis found that through volunteers on a stationary bike, that these neurotransmitters increased. Running provides a break for me. I'm able to take a step away from things that might be stressing or worrying and focus on myself. I'm able to see others. I'm able to experience the social impact of exercise and realize that things that might be stressing or worrying should not consume my life. Other research at Harvard has shown that the chemicals adrenaline and cortisol are decreased when one exercises, and these are stress-inducing hormones. Instead, the feel-good hormones, dopamine and serotonin, are increased. There is this feeling called the runner's high, which occurs where these rush of chemicals come into your brain, causing this excited and jubilant feeling. I often experience this after a long run or a race that I achieved a personal record in. The change that I experienced from running is phenomenal. From not only improving my mental health, but from cultivating a connection between myself, others, nature. This is something that I would like to share with others. Going through mental health struggles myself, I was able to increase my awareness and recognize others who were in a similar boat to me. I realized that the issue of mental health should be put at the top of problems such as climate change and the economy. In order to successfully attack other problems in our world today, we must be in the right state of mind. This current crisis has led me to begin developing a nonprofit organization, Running Heals. The primary goal of this organization is to improve the mental health of adolescents through running as well as other mental health modalities. Not only my personal experience with running, but science itself shows that we need to encourage exercise and other unique modalities to improve mental health. We're stuck in this stigma that we're doing everything we can for mental health and that it's up to those struggling to figure it out. That is incorrect. We are most definitely not done exploring alternative, unorthodox solutions. Let's take this one stride at a time and build a better tomorrow. Thank you.